Imagine a city so powerful, so wealthy, that even the mighty Roman Republic trembled at its name. This wasn't a kingdom of myth or legend. This was Carthage, the jewel of North Africa, Rome's greatest and most formidable rival. For over a century, these two superpowers clashed in a titanic struggle that would decide the fate of the Western world. The story of Carthage is a sweeping epic of ambition, innovation, and a tragic, fiery end. So, who were these people who dared to challenge Rome? Let's journey back across the Mediterranean and uncover the lost history of the Carthaginian Empire. Our story begins not in North Africa, but on the shores of modern-day Lebanon. The Phoenicians were the ancient world's master mariners and traders. From their cities of Tyre and Sidon, their ships, laden with precious cedar wood, intricate glassware, and their famous purple dye, sailed to every corner of the known world. They were explorers and entrepreneurs, establishing trading posts all along the Mediterranean coast. Around 814 BC, according to legend, a Phoenician queen named Dido fled her murderous brother in Tyre and landed on the coast of what is now Tunisia. There, she founded a new city, Carthage, the new city, or as we know it, Carthage. From this strategic location, Carthage was destined for greatness. It controlled the narrow strait between Sicily and Africa, effectively acting as a gatekeeper for all trade moving between the eastern and western Mediterranean. The city grew rich, not through conquest at first, but through commerce. Carthaginian merchants were legendary. They traded Spanish silver, British tin, and African gold and ivory. Their influence stretched from the shores of Sicily to the Atlantic coast of Africa. The city itself became a marvel of the ancient world, boasting a massive circular military harbor, capable of holding over 200 warships, ingeniously hidden from outside view by a commercial port. Its walls were said to be so immense that they were a wonder in their own right. Carthage was a bustling cosmopolitan metropolis, a true powerhouse built on the back of trade. As Carthage's power grew, it inevitably came into conflict with another rising power across the sea, Rome. Both were ambitious, expanding republics, and the Mediterranean simply wasn't big enough for both of them. Their rivalry ignited in 264 BC over the island of Sicily, sparking the First Punic War. Punic comes from the Latin word punicus, which was the Roman name for the Phoenicians. This first conflict was primarily a naval struggle. Initially, Rome, a land-based power, was no match for Carthage's experienced navy. But the Romans were nothing if not adaptable. They captured a shipwrecked Carthaginian vessel, reverse-engineered it, and built an entire fleet. More than that, they invented a clever device called the corvus, a boarding bridge that allowed their superior soldiers to turn a sea battle into a land battle on deck. After more than 20 years of brutal fighting, Rome emerged victorious, seizing Sicily and demanding heavy reparations from Carthage. But Carthage was not defeated. It was merely wounded. And from this defeat, a figure of almost mythical stature would arise, a man whose name would be whispered in fear in Roman households for generations: Hannibal Barca. His father, Hannibal Barca, a general in the First Punic War, allegedly made his young son swear a sacred oath upon an altar to forever be an enemy of Rome. Hannibal inherited not only his father's hatred, but also his military genius. To rebuild Carthage's strength and finances, the Barcas turned to Spain, conquering vast territories rich in silver mines. It was from here that Hannibal launched one of the most audacious military campaigns in all of history. In 218 BC, he set out to do the unthinkable, invade Italy from the north. He marched his army, which included dozens of war elephants, out of Spain, across the Pyrenees Mountains, through Gaul, and then, in an astonishing feat of logistics and sheer willpower, over the snow-covered Alps. The Romans were caught completely off guard. Hannibal descended into Italy like an avenging storm. He inflicted a series of devastating defeats on the Roman legions. At the Battle of the Trebia and the Battle of Lake Trasimene, he used brilliant tactics and ambushes to annihilate entire Roman armies. His masterpiece came in 216 BC at the Battle of Cannae. Facing a Roman force almost double the size of his own, Hannibal executed a perfect double envelopment, surrounding and utterly destroying the Roman army. It was Rome's darkest day, a military catastrophe of unimaginable proportions. For over a decade, Hannibal rampaged through Italy, a seemingly unstoppable force. He never managed to take the city of Rome itself, but he brought the Republic to the very brink of collapse. Rome's response was one of grim determination. A general named Fabius Maximus adopted a strategy of avoiding direct battle with Hannibal, instead harassing his supply lines, a tactic we now call Fabian. While Hannibal was tied down in Italy, another brilliant Roman general, Scipio, took the fight to Carthage's home turf. He conquered Carthaginian territories in Spain, and then, in a move that mirrored Hannibal's own daring, he invaded North Africa. This forced Carthage to recall Hannibal from Italy to defend the homeland. The two greatest generals of the age finally met at the Battle of Zama in 202 BC. This time it was Scipio who proved the master tactician. He figured out how to counter Hannibal's elephants and used his superior cavalry to achieve his own Cannae-style envelopment. Hannibal was defeated. The Second Punic War was over. Rome's terms were even harsher this time. Carthage was stripped of its empire, its navy was dismantled, and it was forbidden from waging war without Rome's permission. For his victory, Scipio was given the honorary title Africanus. Even in defeat, Carthage's commercial spirit endured. The city quickly rebuilt its wealth through trade, a recovery so rapid it made Rome nervous. A faction in the Roman Senate, led by a senator named Cato the Elder, began to see Carthage not as a defeated rival, but as a future threat. Cato would end every speech he gave, no matter the topic, with the same chilling phrase, Carthago delenda est. Carthage must be destroyed. Rome just needed an excuse. They found one when Carthage, provoked by a neighboring kingdom, finally raised an army to defend itself, technically breaking its treaty. This was the justification Rome had been waiting for. The Third Punic War was not so much a war as it was a siege. For 3 long years, the Carthaginians held out with desperate courage, but the outcome was never in doubt. In 146 BC, Roman soldiers breached the walls. What followed was one of the most brutal sacks in ancient history. For 6 days, the Romans fought street by street, slaughtering the inhabitants. The city was systematically plundered and then set ablaze. It is said the fires burned for over 2 weeks. The Roman Senate decreed that the city be completely demolished, its very stones ground to dust, and its fields sown with salt to ensure nothing would ever grow there again. Carthage, the great maritime empire that had challenged Rome for supremacy of the Mediterranean, was erased from the face of the earth. Its libraries were burned, its history lost, its people scattered or enslaved. Most of what we know about Carthage today comes from its enemies, the Romans and the Greeks. It is a story told by the victors, yet the legacy of Carthage endures. It stands as a powerful testament to a brilliant civilization and serves as a chilling reminder of the total and unforgiving nature of ancient warfare. A century later, the Romans would build a new city on the same site, but the glory and the spirit of Phoenician Carthage were gone forever, buried under ash and salt. The story of Carthage and its epic struggle with Rome is a timeless tale of power, ambition, and the clash of civilizations. It reminds us that history is often decided on a knife's edge. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next historical adventure. See you next time.